Please stand and give the Pledge of Allegiance.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Mr. Hines, he's asked to lead us in prayer, if you will. If you would stand, if you want to. If you want to sit, that's fine. Mr. Hines, you have the floor.
You are exalted, O God, above the heavens, and your faithfulness reaches to the clouds. I give you thanks. I ask that you be at this meeting of our city, that you would guide and bring peace in all the events of the evening. We ask for protection for our city and all who work in it. We ask in Jesus' name. Then the Lord's Prayer. Our Father, which art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. Thy kingdom come, thy will be done, on earth as it is in heaven. Give us this day our daily bread. Forgive us our trespasses, as we forgive them that trespass against us. Lead us not into temptation, but deliver us from evil. For thine is the kingdom, the power, and the glory, forever and ever. Amen.
Thank you, sir. All righty, is there any additions or corrections to the agenda? Before we go crazy, I have a couple. One, I'd like to add letter B to the Frontier Trails update. Squeeze in the approval of the last part of the MSU contract. And then I would also like, on the road report, Al, I'm going to hijack your letter D, and I'm going to put an A under it for your RFP for engineering. I'm going to put an A under that, a meeting with Hawkinson Anderson, schedule a meeting with Hawkinson Anderson. And then under new business, letter B, I want to, I put on here, discuss, approve, disapprove, not the school referendum, but at least a public information meeting, if you will, at the city hall for the people about the school. Is that it? It for me, I'm sorry. Mr. Walker, anything you want to add?
No.
Mr. Rush?
Yes, Mayor, I got under road report letter G, discuss, approve, disapprove public works installing stop sign. I'd like to move that under to engineering, letter D. Then under new business, or excuse me, under road report letter K, approve, discuss, approve, disapprove snow plowing policy to go to the paper.
Road report K.
Thank you, that's it.
Thank you, Mr. Rush. Mr. Holm, anything you want to add?
Nope.
Mr. Case?
Nothing.
Motion to approve the agenda is amended. Moved, is there a second? Moved and second. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor, signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed, the same sign. Motion carries. Treasurer's report.
For the month of September, we have a beginning balance of $625,486.64. Receipts of $38,217.21. Disbursements of $128,895.88, leaving an unaudited ending balance of $534,807.97.
Any questions for the treasurer? Public comment requests, we have several. The first one is Darren Leeser. If you would, Darren, please come up to the podium, state your name and address for the record, please.
Yeah, my name is Darren Leeser. Just here to request that my driveway permit be extended for 2 years. It's just I want to. Only thing that's left is the apron. I just want to. I'm still in the process of finishing the house. So I want to put the front porch on, and then when I do the sidewalk for the front porch, and then the whole driveway at once, all the way up to the road. That's kind of.
I don't know if this obviously came in. I don't know if anybody's seen this. This is his house. And so you're asking to extend it to October 31, 2027. So-
Yes. Yeah, my plan is doing next year, but sometimes stuff gets delayed, so.
And obviously you would know, we need to know that it also.
That's true, yeah. Yes, if I get done early, I'll let you know.
And here you said, does it, you would do that in concrete? Is that what you're planning to do at the same time as sidewalk or just the same time?
Same thing, I'm not sure if I'll do asphalt or concrete driveway, I'm not sure at this point.
The wishes of the council?
Mr. Chair, I'll make a motion to approve extending his driveway permit to that date.
Motion and second. Any further discussion? Further discussion. I mean, the soonest you can get it done, the better. I mean, for everybody, you, us, everybody, you know what I mean? Sure. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, the same sign. Motion carries.
Thank you.
Thanks for coming in. All right, the next one we have is Norm Benke. Norm, if you would, please.
Yes,
Know the drill?
yep. Yes, Norm Benke, 28123 Lake Diane Road. And I've lived there for 27 years, and I've addressed some dog control concerns previously to the council. And most of the current problems are with a resident 3 houses north of me on Lake Diane Road. We've got at least 4 dogs there, and I did send a message to the clerk asking if there was any kind of limit on dogs at a residence, and was told that 10 is the maximum, and they don't have 10, so it's not really an issue. So anyway, yesterday, it was shortly after 3 p.m., and there's this explosion of dog barking outside. So I go outside to take a look, and 2 of the neighbors' large black mastiffs have escaped the enclosure, and they're in the next neighbor to the south's yard. They're barking. There's a black mastiff, at least I think, still in the enclosure barking. So they're barking like crazy. And so I started recording it with my phone. I got to 4 minutes and then it stopped. So I didn't get to the 5-minute violation limit. But once they stopped barking, the 2 dogs that were loose went up the neighbor's fence and headed towards the road. So these dogs are loose in the neighborhood. And I'm pretty sure these are the same dogs that have been in my yard previously. So I talked to non-emergency dispatch. I said, could you have a deputy speak to the neighbor about their loose dogs? And I got a call back in about 15 minutes from a deputy with whom I'd spoken before, and I don't have his last name. And he said to me that Sherburne County deputies do not come to the city of Baldwin for loose and barking dog complaints. He said the city of Baldwin has decided to take on that administration. He says, and the city of Baldwin is the only jurisdiction anywhere in Sherburne County that is dealing with their own loose and barking dogs. So, so basically, so this is the ultimate question. So if Sherburne County deputies are not going to respond to loose and barking dogs in the city of Baldwin, what are residents supposed to do? A, if a dog starts barking at 2 a.m, or B, if a large loose dog comes running through your yard?
Yes, that's news to me, and yet they're not they're communicating with you something different than what they are communicating with us.
Okay, well, I can.
But we had a meeting with them in person at county offices to get an understanding with them, not only with the sheriff was there, but all of his deputies, the main people. And I had thought we had this resolved. And yet you're telling me that that's something different. So this is something that I think the only thing we can do as a city is follow up with the deputy who's our primary contact. He's not here tonight, but there is, usually it's one, I can't remember the deputy's name. Kai Wilson, and we'll see what we can do to find out what's going on.
Okay, because I've got his number, and I didn't call him back to clarify his name. I talked to him yesterday, and I thought about getting his name, but I didn't. So I can do that tomorrow too. I can get his name, and then I can send an email to, I guess, I don't have anybody else's email. I can send it to Joan. I can copy Sheriff Brott, and I can include this gentleman's name and say, this is what I was told. So the next question is, what does the Baldwin City Council think should happen with regard to loose and barking dog violations?
I don't have a copy of your ordinance here. I represent 350 some different communities around the state, my firm. I don't have your ordinance. I didn't know this was on the agenda. I don't know. I know, so I can't answer that for you right now.
And what I'd like to see is that the barking dogs, if we have barking dogs, if you have that 2 o'clock in the morning, 3 o'clock in the afternoon, it doesn't really matter. Sherburne County Sheriff is one who's going to come out, at least address that call and find out if the dogs are barking. Now, the way they're going to do that is maybe going to make them bark more or make them bark less, because they have to come out there and literally hear that for 5 minutes or more or whatnot to make it an objectionable offense.
Right, what about, like in the case yesterday, I almost got to 5 minutes. What if I have a video and it's 100% identification, and in this case it is, the lake curves around a little bit, I can see the house, I can see the dogs, I can hear the barking. If I have 100% absolute identification on a video, in your opinion, is that sufficient for a citation to be issued?
I don't know about a citation, but for the sheriff to come and look at it. Because they're doing our law enforcement, dogs at large. That is something that.
The county should handle that.
Correct, well, and the county sheriffs, right?
Mr.
Dogs at large, that should be the sheriff that comes and does that.
Okay,
But before we go any further with hypotheticals and these kind of things.
sure.
Let us try and get a hold of the sheriff, because I'm telling you, both of the things that you just described are things that we would have expected Sherburne County law enforcement to come out and at least talk to you about.
Yeah, well, there's definitely a disconnect, because
If
he
you
absolutely said that they
Yeah.
don't come for those issues.
You can either find out or send to Joan, whatever, the sheriff's name or badge number or whatever.
Yeah, I'll
Wonderful, so that we can, talk directly to him, or at least talk to the sheriff about him.
Yeah, I'll call the number tomorrow and I'll get his name, and then I'll send an email and I'll copy Sheriff Rod, I'll copy Joan and say, okay, this is what I was told, and, we'll see, I guess we'll see what discussions.
Yeah, we are just gonna, we have to, we have to work with the sheriff's department, because we're not able on our own to go out there and issue tickets, because we're not law enforcement officers. We have our own ordinance. We will find out from the sheriff's department where the disconnect is, because we have had this meeting with them regarding this very issue, and I thought we had it resolved.
And it stemmed from Norm's previous public comment a few months ago about the barking dogs, I believe.
And others as well, yes.
Yeah.
Other people. So it's
Okay.
it's not new. We've had an issue with them having a disconnect at the deputy level. Yet we're going to the higher ups, trying to make sure that we're on the same page. I thought we had it resolved. And
Okay.
evidently what you're telling us is that we don't. We need to go back and talk to
Sheriff
them.
Brott was in that meeting. It's not Kathy Haney anymore.
her replacement.
The new county attorney, she was there as well. We
Okay.
thought we had this all ironed
One of
out.
her deputies was there. Some of the sheriff's deputies were there.
Okay, well, let me work on getting the name of the deputy with whom I spoke yesterday, because they're definitely disconnected. I can't speak for the rest of the sheriff's department, but they're definitely disconnected. Then, once I have that name, then I'll communicate it, and then obviously you can talk to the sheriff and decide where to go from here.
Definitely.
Okay,
Thank you.
thank you.
All righty, and last we have Julie Weidenborner. Julie, if you would, you know the drill as well.
Good evening. I'm Julie Harity Weidenborner, 14312 314th Avenue, the current Frontier Trails president. After last week, I had a few conversations with some residents that are very concerned about the increase. And I told them that it was something that was discussed last year in October, and that the scale that Ellers had presented was one that we should be looking at from last year. So I just wanted to voice their concern. They're feeling the crunch like everybody else with budgets and all of that. We're hoping to get a better understanding of what NSU is going to be before you guys make the budget plan. So I'm hoping if you added Plan B to your, we'll hear that first before a budget is set. Is that kind of the plan?
Actually, no, it will be the other way around, because we've advertised this and sent you guys all letters that today is the day we will do that.
Right.
We'll get into that when we do that.
So you're going to set a budget before you know what NSU is charging?
Because we sent a letter out to everybody
we're-
and noticed you, and we have what we believe is going to be the number that's needed, then when we'll get into all of that when we actually get.
Okay, thank you. And then is there going to be a cap to expenditures that need to go before the board? Like I know before it was the sitting advisor, or I'm not using the right terms, but whoever's in charge from the city council for our, what is it?
Liaison.
Liaison, thank you. That person would come before the board before an expense that was a certain dollar amount be approved by the board? Is that going?
Moving forward, absolutely. Just about every expenditure that's going to wind up, other than the normal micro C maintenance, these types of things.
Right, okay, so that will kind of stand as is, like, I think it was $2,000 that then would come back unless it was an emergency kind of thing. Is that's still going to be the,
Something happens to where pumps fail or something like that.
right, that
those
there's an
are-
emergency? Right, so our understanding is still the same then. And then last time, we were talking about how to monitor homes that have sub pumps that are pumping into our septic system. Is there, can that be addressed with NSU? Like, what are some, potential ways of figuring that out? I know of 2 homes right now that are pumping in, and one affects our system because we can't pump. It pumps so much out into the street that we can't pump our own in there, and it backs up in our house. I know there's check valves, there's all this that's not supposed to happen, but it does happen. And I'm concerned about some of the other homes having some of the same issues, that if we can get to the bottom.
First and foremost, sump pumps should not be discharging into the community septic. You know what I mean? If we know we have the ability to go in and find these, we do not want to go in and find these. Last thing we really want to do, but it is a problem. We had some, I think, a couple of years ago from an early melt-off that took you guys from about 45 to 5,000 gallons a day, 16,000, because that's what was happening. That'll destroy the system. That'll give everybody problems. So anything that, is discharging into it that's not sewage, comes from the human, if you will, whatever it does. sink or the tubs, showers, that kind of thing. And so, and I do believe, the one that you brought to attention is owned by somebody. Something was moved. There is a plumbing permit going on with that. We've also told the inspectors to make sure that is not going to be put back into.
So what you're saying is that will be inspected?
That will be inspected.
Okay.
The plumbing that they're asking to do, this will be added to that to make sure that's happening, number one. Number two, the answer to your question, NSU, we are also going to ask them to tell us what are some of the things that they do and have done. That last thing we want to do is tell them something, or they may have even a better way to watch this and look.
Yeah, that was my understanding after
get
talking
more.
with them. Perfect. Then will there, let's see, we've had several homes that have sold and have new owners that have not received information from me or from the city. Is there a way of being able to pass those names on to me and me pass them on to you so that we have some kind of conversation about that? Because I think trying to get communications out to them has been difficult.
Only if we know of them. And by that, I mean, because a house sells doesn't mean the city knows it.
Okay,
Don't get alerted that by the realtors and anything, title companies or anything, that's not something. But if we do know about that, because we know, if we find the potential owner who has actually contacted us, but that owner also told us, I didn't know anything about a community septic system. I didn't know anything about anything. So, and they also, there's assessments on that particular property as well, because the company that owns it, if you will, at the moment, who's refurbishing it, trying to sell it, whatever, they have been delinquent on their utility bills as well. So now we're going after a company, and if this guy buys it, he says, I shouldn't be on the hook for this. You buy it, you will. Buy that home, you are. Buyer beware. That's, you know what I mean? Nothing we can do about it.
so is there a way of me giving you guys permission to share my name and phone number with people?
Absolutely, and
Okay.
again, no problem, yeah, we can do that.
Excellent. And then how do you know, how do homeowners that are new buyers know that this is a utility bill?
When
This
they
is, they just have to,
Yeah.
they are, it's
Insurance agent or the-
on their records, on their property records, is the resolution establishing the subordinate service district. So when they're buying subject to that, and they're deemed to have knowledge about it. And when they get the bill, if they, just like, it's buyer beware. And so we have no way of going out there and finding out who's
Right,
buying
right.
property and educating them and making sure they understand and holding their hand all the way through this. There's just not going to happen.
Can you repeat that first part? How do homeowners, when they're purchasing, know that there's a
It
subordinate?
has to be in the disclosures. So
In
when
the
you buy a
disclosure,
home,
okay.
it's disclosed, and there's a sewer part that's disclosed, and all that's gotta be in that disclosure.
Should be.
Well, it's supposed to be in there, and if they didn't, then you're back on the previous owner and their agent that they didn't disclose that.
Part of this is kind of the,
Covered under truth in housing,
Yes.
Would it be a lien, mechanics lien on
multiple.
Again, that's separate from
And
this.
so I think what Mr. Rupee was saying here is somewhere in the title work, because it is registered at Sherburne County, so somewhere in the title work, it's gonna say that it is a community sewer and it does have this as a utility that goes along with that.
it's not a legal requirement to record these documents, but typically as best practice, we have done that specifically because people have said, well, I bought and I didn't know. It doesn't change the fact that whoever buys or owns that property is still responsible for their proportionate share of all the cost of the district or the system itself, which is all the, but we've done what we can.
Right. Okay, and a title company generally, tells homeowners that it is property within a HOA.
We don't
And
know
they
that.
should-
I can't tell you what a
Okay.
title company does. I have seen many different title commitments that I
Okay.
have seen over the years when I'm reviewing documents and stuff. Some are better than others. Some may have this. I can't tell you that it's a legal requirement for them to disclose this because it's not it's just something that we normally would see because it's something that would be a quote, a burden on the property. It's something that somebody has an affirmative act to comply with.
Yeah, almost every single home, since I've been president, I've had a realtor that has contacted me and asked me, what does this person owe for dues? So almost every single
Typically,
person.
when there is a pending sale, typically, good title I can't say it's illegal.
Right.
Most title companies will call Joan and ask, are there any pending assessments against this property? So they can work that out at time of closing. And we will disclose that. Yes, this amount of money is pending because they haven't been paying their sewer bills, or this is part of a subordinate service district and they will be getting future
Okay.
assessments.
So then when I have homeowners that are upset that they didn't know this, who do I refer them on to? You know, like contact the realtor that you dealt with?
That's up to
Contact
them.
the title company? I mean.
That would be what
like-
they should
like
do.
Yeah, we're backwards, back to the
Gotta go
Realtor
back.
and the disclosures that they get. They
Okay.
you get the disclosures, it's,
So my daughter's looking for a home. She said, Dad, this is a community septic. I said, no,
Yeah,
no offense, but I mean,
yeah,
no, I mean, gotta do the homework.
Okay.
And so I think the one thing that happens is the assessment for the replacement of the system. That's a tax assessment that's on all the properties. I think the closing companies, mortgage companies, a lot of these things are going to catch that, you know what I mean, and react to that. Okay, that needs to be paid off, or we won't give you a mortgage unless, or some way of actually dealing with that. You know what I mean? I don't know that they're as prone to catching the fact that there's a utility bill that actually goes.
okay,
So who to talk to, that literally is the
okay.
realtor.
No, that's good, because I've just been fielding a ton of questions and trying to help people navigate it, and, you know, alls I know is what it is for me, you know, for what we've been dealing with. And then the last question is, I didn't know that we went to every 3 years for pumping homes. It was disclosed last meeting that it was changed to every 3 years. I was hoping that there would be communication with that on what years and what addresses those are so that I can communicate. And then finally, with that, in the posting of Frontier Trails on the website, is there a way of being able to post, if you're having trouble with your septic, call these people so that I don't get 3:00 a.m. phone calls, you know, to call Mark's Emergency Service? Or how do you want them to handle that?
Yes, we can do that. We want to get farther into this whole program with NSU.
Okay.
Before we nail down what that is going to be.
Excellent.
If we have that, you will be the first one to know.
Thank you. I really appreciate your candidness, and thank you for the time in answering all these questions. I appreciate it.
All right, are there any other public comment requests, Joan? All righty, I will close the public comment portion, and we have the approval of the consent agenda.
Make a motion to approve the whole consent agenda.
All right, is there a second? Motion is second. I would like to at least recognize last two things in this is the approval of the resignation letter of Cal Schmock. I'd like to thank Cal Schmock for his jillion years on the Planning Commission. He is one of the, not one of the original members, but he has been around since the beginning. Put an awful lot of years into that. And I'd also like to follow this up with a letter. And then also too, this also is the resolution 2525 that appoints the planning commissioner Bruce West and Mary Larson. Bruce, I know you're here. Congratulations. Becoming part of the planning commission. Thank you for your service to the community. You know, it's a bunch of work. It'd be like 2 meetings a month, if you will, for that. And to Mary as well. I don't think Mary is here. I don't see her here, but I wanted to thank her for stepping up and doing that as well. So we have a motion and a second, and any further discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, the same sign. Motion carries. All righty, engineering, approve, disapprove the sinkhole geotech report.
Yes, thank you, Mr. Mayor and council. This item was brought up as earlier in the year, council elected to get soil borings done on all the sinkholes throughout the city. That report has been completed by Howgo, so city should have all the information now that is needed to start getting these prepared. So kind of now the direction that council needs to discuss and give is, will this be a engineering matter to handle, or is city gonna handle it in-house? And with recent events, if it is engineering, it probably would have to be tabled. There's also discussion to be had for if it's in-house as well.
I think that at this point in time, I think the geotech report, we have that on here for approving that. I think we can approve that because we have. Considering where we are with engineering at the moment, I don't know that we're ready to make that decision yet, so I think that part of it would be tabled. So I would, think I would entertain a motion to approve the geotech report.
Oh, Mr. Chair, Mr. Mayor, I will make a motion to approve the geotech report.
Is there a second?
I'll second that.
Motion second. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, the same sign. Motion carried. Letter B, discuss, approve, disapprove, allowing wear course on Oaks of Battlebrook, second edition.
Yeah, thank you, Mr. Mayor and council. So yeah, we have provided a memo that kind of summarizes where we're at on all this. Just a quick summary on that. Back in June or July, developer requested putting in the wear course on this development. Upon further review, we came up with a punch list that we suggested and council reviewed as well, that all other items be completed before we consider wear course. Developer has completed a lot of those checklist items. However, one of the underlying issues we're still seeing are a lot of bare spots out there where we're not seeing properly established vegetation. So given that, this is why it's now being brought to council to see if they will allow the developer to pave their wear course before completion of the punch list, including getting established vegetation throughout.
And so is that the only picture we have here, Joan, or is there several more? Because we have a few more. And I don't know if you've seen these yet, Sam, but some of them show huge deterioration, whatever, on the edge of the road.
I took these, yeah.
Okay, so then you have seen them.
Yes.
All right, so then the question is if we allow a wear course over that,
So that was another thing to add. If council did approve that, we do have a list on the punch list for repairing some edge wear areas we've seen. Obviously, we would advise that gets completed before the wear course, because yes, you wouldn't want to pave over that.
Is that where the saw cut comes in?
Yep, yeah, they'll saw cut. A lot, if it's just the edge, they can couple 2-3 feet in, take it out,
So
patches.
just to clarify, your recommendation is that we don't allow them to do that until they get that punch list done.
That, I mean, the council can really go either way. It's,
I just don't wanna have to pay later for something that didn't go right.
and again, this would be under the condition too, that they would still be responsible for achieving vegetation, even if the wear goes on, and also be reliable or on the hook for repairing any wear course that would get damaged.
But isn't that part of their approved plans, that they have to do this? Don't we have their security, their letter of credit that we have not reduced? So we would have the ability to assess the lots within, we have different layers of protection for the city.
and so could we then allow the wear course, providing they do the saw cuts and follow the
Correct.
directions that you guys have laid out
Yep, yeah.
in that?
They're primarily looking for, there's still some smaller items on there too that have to be done, but the major thing is this vegetation. They're primarily looking to see if you guys will approve allowing them to do wear course before this established vegetation. But yes, we would also make them do the non-wear, the base lift asphalt repairs that need to be done.
And then even at that, there still would be a warranty period. We wouldn't be taking the road over, if you will.
Correct.
Just by allowing them to do the wear course.
Correct.
There would be a year,
Two-year warranty period.
You wouldn't take the road over until the punch list is.
So I guess my true question is, do we have a way to stop them from putting the wear course on there? If that's what they just decided they wanted to do.
Well, we could always go into court and stop them.
Yes, you know what I mean, but I mean, sans that. So I think if they're asking us to approve that, then I would suggest, you tell me, I would suggest that we would say, yes, go ahead and do that as long as you do
Yep.
the saw cuts and those types.
And I in emails with the developer stated it would be under the understanding that you would still be list, including vegetation and getting those bituminous fixed before the wear.
What are the wishes of the council?
Mr. Mayor, Sam, would you be following up then, or the next engineer then, to, on the punch list to sign off on that then?
We can, well, yeah, whoever is managing it will keep track of the punch list for sure. And so like I said, I mean, they have been doing some stuff out there. I mean, a lot of the washouts have been corrected from the initial punch list, and they have been putting some down, and we are seeing some vegetation, so we are monitoring the project as a whole. And you will too. It's fully
Just,
complete.
Mr. Mayor, just a developer that also has another developer coming in the city. So we're gonna be involved monitoring them on, okay.
Correct.
So I'm fine with that because we have some leverage then.
Motion to approve with the saw.
I'll make the motion to approve the second wear course with the engineering recommended punch list and the other. Yep, including.
Second. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Same sign. Motion carries. Letter C, discuss, approve, disapprove additional 2 to 3 hours of the North Elk Lake survey. So, I mean, you think a couple more hours? So
Yep.
if we added
Yeah.
2 hours to that, we'd be good to go.
Yep, and
What are the wishes of the council?
Mr. Mayor, I'll make a motion to approve 2 additional hours for the engineer to do that.
Second.
I'll second.
Motion and a second. Any further discussion?
I'll be voting against it because I was against the whole thing from the very beginning. So I'll stick with what I was at.
And I echo that.
Hearing none, all those in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, the same sign.
Aye.
Aye.
And under C1, we also have discuss, approve, disapprove PID 01-00409-0210, large wooden post in a row. This was one, I think, that had been found there. There was a huge post. We sent our guys out there to take a look at it, and it turns out that, like some of the other appendages that were out there, this is actually holding up a retaining wall. But what I'd ask is that if we could reduce it to the minimum size, as we've done with the other one, then come with an encroachment agreement.
Yeah, but on this, if you're looking at this, doesn't this appear that this part here is what it's keeping that, is that part of the retaining wall, and this is just the support?
It's
If
our
they-
belief that that is part of the retaining.
And if they cut this at level grade with that, wouldn't that then wouldn't there be enough support to keep this retaining wall in place and still not be a hazard to the traveling public?
To the top of that, exactly, but that's still in the road right away.
Yes, I know, but it's still, I'm just trying to make sure I understand if I have to be the one to,
Yeah, no, reduce it to the minimum amount, which would be to cut it off as much as possible. Dealt with the other ones similarly.
Yep.
And then an encroachment agreement.
okay, no problem.
That is a direction to you. The motion to approve this.
Mr. Mayor, I'll make a motion to approve the adjustment to the retaining wall.
Motion and a second. Further discussion?
So this is a motion,
To approve you to start the encroachment agreement.
and if they will not, then we will take matters into our own hands. Okay. All right, thank you.
Any further discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, the same sign.
Aye.
Two of the motion does prevail. Letter D, road report. Letter D is actually, letter G on road report, discuss, approve, disapprove public works installing stop sign at 294th Avenue.
Yeah. Yeah, so Sam, this is an old one, that goes back from Matt. I guess this has been brought up, about the Sumser development there. This was going back to Dan Licht. It's a cul-de-sac out there, and want to see if a stop sign is needed out there in the cul-de-sac. And I think the developer, pending, they should be installed by them. So I'm just wondering, I don't know if we need a stop sign for a cul-de-sac. But that was part of, developer's agreement.
So are
I'm a
we,
little hamstrung here at this point in time. Are you talking about the entrance to the road that the cul-de-sac is on?
Going out, it's right here.
are we talking north-south or east-west? That's what I'd like to know. Are we talking the north-south, which is the 142nd, east and west, huh? And you're talking about putting stop signs on both of them?
There's already one
There's one,
west,
there's one
there
fit,
isn't one if you're going east.
okay, all right. Yeah, so you're coming out of the cul-de-sac, and, okay,
Coming up to the street. And
coming up to the street, all right. Yeah, that would, to be honest, the public safety issue, that would make sense, because you already have one on the other side, facing you, so.
These guys don't have one.
They don't have one coming out. There's one here, and this is a run through here, so if, as a public safety issue, I would say yes, we should have one there. Oh,
That should come out of the developers.
Yes, definitely.
Sumsters. As this brought up, it was old.
I'll make,
Sure, I mean,
I would think a
should
stop
be there,
sign
right?
should be there, yes.
I'll make a motion to, have Public Works install a stop sign at that intersection, and take it out of the developers agreement, right?
Is there a second? Motion is second. Any further discussion? Any further discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor, signify by saying aye.
All right,
Opposed, the same sign. Motion carries. Alrighty, but that does end this, Sam. Thank you.
thank you,
Appreciate it.
Sam.
Thanks, Sam.
For the rest of the meeting, I'm not gonna force you to do that. But you can if you want to. You're more than welcome to stay. I don't want to take. Good evening. Okay, Frontier Trails, discuss, approve, disapprove the 2026 budget and set the monthly fee for Frontier Trails. Okay, to start this out, we had advised everybody and sent letters out to all the Frontier Trails people that tonight was gonna be the night. We had hoped, I had hoped, to have more to tell everybody about with NSU as far as having the contract to sign. But we have been in contract negotiations for the better part of a month and a half now. And right now, we believe we do finally have, part of what's coming up, the agreed upon contract with NSU, Natural Systems Utilities, signed tonight. With this, contract will be, and what we'll ask them for is a capital budget that they think they need to have for Frontier Trails. We don't know what that is, but we do know what it has been. There's no reason it should be really any different. Hopefully, maybe it'll be less, but I'm not holding my breath, right? I mean, we know how this goes, right? And so with that in mind, we had said a number. Want to dig through what the actual
79.
budget would be, it was $179. And so that was the number that we had broadcast last. That was the number that Julie had mentioned earlier that she had heard before. And we have now, what we have is $18,000. This is Liz from Ellers, this is part of the budget, $18,000 for capital expenditures. So with that in mind, and using a number of $18,000 for that for capital expenditures, that would be, the uncertainty comes in 2027. And what we're looking at is what was presented by Bridget Chard some years ago, and we're gonna need to have this discussion in 2027 about what that looks like. In 2027, it was proposed that $58,000 Frontier Trails budget for capital expenditures, because those things would need to be replaced. We have replaced a lot of things at this point in time. That's why it's not 58,000 in the 2026. It is 18,000 in the 2026 budget. And we know that takes into account the numbers we knew from NSU, which is about $1,900 and some change a month for their input into this and their management. And let's see here, $7 for 2026 would be $186 a month. Gets us to a positive cash balance in 2027. So remember, we're still working on the $120,000 loan that had happened. Part of what is in that and getting covered by that is the interest of $3,600 in there. What Liz has said is $186 a month. Should give us a positive cash balance in 2027. Now, this is providing nothing goes to pot on us. We don't have any really large expenditures. There was a $14,000 suggestion by another vendor of something that needed to happen. I have not talked to NSU because NSU, Tyler Gagner, he has been doing the DMRs and monitoring and those kind of things of Frontier Trails, so we're not behind on that. It was without the signed contract. He understood where we're at and what we needed to do. So moving forward, I would suggest that $186 be provided, approved tonight for the budget. We are going to have a budget meeting tomorrow for the rest of the city, and we may have some more discussions about this because Liz will be at that. And it's unfortunate that it just all, I'm going to say the perfect storm, because had we been able to have things narrowed down with NSU, like the contract, we would have been farther into discussions with them on what does the budget actually look like, what are they planning. The questions that Julie had earlier, if we can answer those as well. So, but because we told everybody that tonight was the night, I think we really need to do that. We need to follow through. $186 is the number that's.
Mr. Mayor, are we voting separately on a budget and then the fee, or is it all in one?
It would be all in one.
Okay.
All in one.
All right, just clarifying that.
What are the wishes of the council?
Mr. Mayor, I'll make a motion to approve the 2026 budget and monthly fee at $186 a month for Frontier Trails.
Second. I will second it. Further discussion?
So you said last October it was forecasted 179, so I heard you say?
Correct.
And you're going
Yep.
to 186
Yep.
instead to have the positive.
$186
Yes, per month.
Give us a positive cash flow balance, positive cash balance of 2020. Discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor, signify by saying aye. Aye.
Aye.
Opposed, the same sign. Motion carries. Is that 4-1? All right, is that 4-1? Al, are you aye or aye? 4-1? All right, the NSU contract, we have that here. Bob, I'll let you take that. We have, finally, I believe, have heard, if you want, I don't know if you want to look at.
Oh, no, it's basically the issues that we have had with NSU have been regarding the contract terms. Mainly, it's relating back to protections for NSU potentially at the detriment to the city. So we have been negotiating, they wanted limitations on no liability, and we couldn't agree to that. So we agreed to, one of the things that we did agree is that in consultation with Shane Nelson, the engineer, it wasn't clear that there would be any significant damage if they did something, unless they tried to intentionally damage the system. There wouldn't be that much, so we agreed to limit it to either the amount of their insurance or to $500,000, whichever is greater. So they knew that it wasn't going to, they wouldn't be on the hook for millions of dollars. They wanted to limit it, like everybody, like the amount we get paid. And I'm like, no, that's like your $3,000 a month, you're getting from this contract. Everything that we had issues with them, the reason this took so long is it's been with them because they had to go back to New York. Their attorney is out of Tennessee, but she said because we were asking for such departures from their traditional contract, it had to go back to corporate headquarters and get approval. I got that today, so I am assuming that this is the contract. She said she had one last question, and that was, when are we increasing the fees? And I said, wait a minute, there is no question. This is what you proposed to us. This is what we agreed to. This is what we're going to adopt tonight. We're not changing those terms. And I have not heard back from her, but I believe that this is acceptable. This is what they proposed originally. We didn't like it. We tried to get them to negotiate it. They said no. This was, in comparison to all the other issues that we were trying to get for the residents, this was relatively minor. And so I believe now we have a contract that they will sign. So again, I have not heard back from that attorney. She has not responded to my email, but it has now taken 3.5 weeks for her to respond the last time, to the point where their NSU representative who's been working here has been emailing her, and I've been emailing her each week. Where is this? And they just responded today. So it's residents at Frontier Trails. This is not something the city is in control over. This is all stuff that was in control over NSU, and they have finally, I guess, we have negotiated something that I believe the city can accept.
What are the wishes of the council?
I believe the council's already approved this contract contingent on attorney review.
Correct, but I want to do this, if you do believe this is right, then approve this as well.
Mr. Mayor, I'll make a motion to approve the NSU contract.
Second, any further discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, the same sign. Approval of Resolution 2524, resolution certifying delinquent community sewer treatment. You want me to have that there? Several. So, do you want me to read this, or do you want me to dispense with reading this?
It's up on the screen already.
So, all of this is a matter of public record. 9, delinquent.
I'll make a motion to approve.
Second? Second. Motion and second. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, the same sign. Motion carries. Alrighty, road report. Mr. Walker. Public Works report.
Okay. Road report. We've been working on several projects. Chip seal ones. I think the only one that we're really kind of seal, Crack sealer.
Then, Mr. Mayor, I may add something because I was working on this, soil water conservation too. Those two projects at Lake Diane and Sandy, they're finishing up at Lake Diane, so they plan to be done with those by mid-November. So you're aware of that one.
Okay. All righty.
I'd like to talk about, on that project too, I'd like to talk about the triple chip seal on that.
Yeah, we can talk later on that. Or,
Yeah, I believe that is to defer it until next year.
Yeah, because.
That's letter J.
It's, yeah.
That's,
Okay, anything else on this particular report, sir? Any questions for Al on any of this?
the truck will be here, hopefully in mid-November.
Mid-November now. Beginning of November, not long ago. Now it's the middle of November.
In the mid.
At some point in time, we'll probably have a truck chassis to sell.
Gonna have a John Madden Turkey Day.
Yeah. Okay. All righty, then we'll just move down the line here. Discuss, approve, disapprove failed driveway inspection for PID 01-00025-2401. This was the one on 100th Street. So, and what this guy is saying that, you know, if we're gonna do 100th Street, if we're gonna move on that, this is the apron, I do believe, whatever, that's at 100th Street. Rather than doing it now and having it all tore up, if we do 100th Street, figure out what's going on with that. Does anybody have a problem with that?
I don't. I thought we dealt with it. I didn't realize we tabled it.
I don't know if we tabled it, but here it is on the agenda here now. So I think what we could do, I wouldn't have a problem with approving this, be extended, if you will, until we move on 100th Street. Is that a motion?
Make a motion.
Second that.
Motion and a second. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, the same sign. Motion carries. All
Only
right.
let the property owner know.
All right, discuss, approve, disapprove tree trimming and brush on West Elk Lake and 101st Street.
The limbs and stuff are starting to grow out onto the roads and they need to be trimmed. I'd like to send letters out to the people that live in that area so that they, what's gonna happen there.
And we're gonna go out and trim that, you thinking?
I think, I would like to.
Our maintenance people going out? Yeah, okay, cool. I wonder if we could think about some other areas as well. Because we have trees and limbs that are hanging at just about my entire trip in the morning. Sight lines are bad and this kind of thing. I wonder if we could put together some kind of a plan, whatnot, even if it includes having a tree trimmer company come in and do a couple of miles of road or whatever that is.
Yeah, because I know there's other areas that, these are just ones that have been noted the most.
Mr. Mayor, Council, especially the ones where there is stop signs and yield signs, they need to be trimmed back to make sure they have clear lines of sight to that as they're coming up to those intersections.
Yes.
Zach, didn't you have, like, there was 4 or 5 in the area that you proposed that you were looking at to get done, the most severe ones, and then we were gonna go out and I think go get quotes to have a company do that, because there was a vendor that came in here, I do believe.
Council, I've got a selected 6, 7 roads that I've shared. Look for a vendor to take care of that. It's outside of the
They got the
toolbox
equipment.
that we have currently.
I mean, have we seen it? I mean, has the council seen these roads or whatever?
I've seen a couple of them, yeah.
Cool. Does it include 112th and 285th and,
I think it, 108th, yeah.
Does.
All that. I think we should put together a plan, whatever, and have that quoted or whatever by.
Couple quotes.
Could do that.
Excellent, and then so, but this is just for our people to go out as well, right, on Elk Lake? Just for our people to go out and remove some stuff. What are the wishes of the council?
I'll make a motion to approve.
Second? Motion and a second. Any further discussion? I would have one piece of discussion, at least on this. If this is tree trimming that we can do in-house, I don't know that it needs to come to the council to do that. Out there and get her cleaned up.
Well, I think the letters, we just want to make sure we're all on the same page.
Okay, yep, no, that makes sense. Right, I stand corrected. Yep, okay, so do we have a list of the addresses that are gonna be,
Not right offhand, we don't. Oh,
okay. Joan, do you have everything that you need there to send letters out to these people? Let them know we're coming through? So I think what we should do, this is all, we haven't, this is part of the discussion. I think what we should do is figure out a time frame for this. Joan, when do you think you can get these letters out?
Week.
Get them out early next week, 27, 28, middle of the week, what is 20? So, and that'll give people a chance to react. So would you think about actually going out like the first week in November then? Any further discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, the same sign. Motion carries. Letter D, discuss RFP for engineering. Mr. Walker.
yeah, I think we should discuss getting an RFP.
Okay, I would agree with that. At this very moment, Hawkinson Anderson has terminated the contract with us for engineering. If we do that, I would say an RFP, all transparency. When Bob had heard that Hawkinson Anderson had done that, he came to me, and so did actually Shane with the name of Matt Stordahl from Stonebrook Engineering in Burnsville. And we met, Bob and Matt and I met on Friday last week for lunch, and we talked and we had a good conversation. I would suggest if we are going to go out for an engineer that we do put together an RFP. I think I don't know if we actually have one. Going to understand.
Sure, we can get one for you. The league actually may have one. The League of Minnesota Cities may have one. They have on their, either they have it on their website or they have available for.
We put one out like 3 years ago when we had the previous to our current engineer, the previous one that when we had the interviews. Yeah.
So it may be worth looking at that one and then just seeing if this is something that, there's anything that you'd want to update on that.
Correct.
Any additional needs.
Mr. Mayor, I think we get this out quickly. I also, I mean, you guys talked to one. I don't think we go out, I think we just go by word of mouth. Like you, Hawkinson Anderson recommended one. There is another company that we know, More Engineering, that I would like to get in for RFP as well. I just think, because the termination is November 9th, I believe. I know they said that they will work with us, but I just think due to the urgency, you know, of the road project coming up, this is the time of year to be designing. We get the early bird special in spring. So, I mean, I would like to get this rolling as quickly as can, possibly, and maybe even interviews by, you know, the first week of November.
Well, I don't disagree with any of that. And part of this is what I said I was going to hijack with letter A on here as far as the RFPs. If we go out for an engineer, if we do go out for an engineer, I think we do an RFP and we'll hear from 5 of them if necessary. You know what I mean? I don't want to cut ourselves off from anybody. But I would like everybody that thinks they can do us well to have a chance. but I'm gonna hijack you just a little bit here, Al, and say that, you know what I mean? If you, did everybody see the email that came from Hawkinson Anderson last Friday?
Yes.
I have been talking with Shane about all of this, whatever, and I told him that my desire, I'm not, my desire is to resurrect the relationship with Hawkinson. They're knee-deep into 100th Street and 297. They're knee-deep into the other 4 roads projects, whatever, that we had discussed. And then he also talked to me a little bit about the LRIP grant program and thinking about 303rd here, part of that, and maybe we can. So I'm not sure what happened. I think we need to have a meeting with him. I would like to propose, and he is open to a meeting this week, possibly, between he and his partner and us, the council, or just me, or Mr. Case and I, 2 of us. If we have more than 3, whatnot, that go to his office, I told him
I think we should have the whole city council.
I just think that there's some things that need to be, you know, discussed, whatever that is. You know what I mean? That maybe should happen. And then come back.
Well, here,
Mr. Mayor?
Yes.
Disclosure, I had a long talk with Shane Nelson too. We keep flipping engineers and it's gonna keep costing the city money every time we do, so I'd like to repair this relationship. I personally think that 1 or 2 of us meeting with them at their office to try and hammer out some details and then bring the details back to the city council would be the appropriate way to do it. Because if we have 8, 10 people in a discussion, it gets to be way too long and way too many people in there. Just saying.
well, Mr. Mayor, I think it needs to be whole city council. Because, I mean, they did submit their termination. So I want to explore that and ask some questions too. So, I mean, I think it should be in front of the whole city council.
I don't know if they're even gonna agree to that anymore, to come to the city council to do that.
And the,
Oh, why wouldn't they?
They terminated,
I know, but if they want to be our engineer, if they want.
so we should,
Repair the relationship, they should.
my
come.
problem is we're gonna spend money to get the 3rd engineer in 5 years. We've gone through 3, so we're going to a 4th. Let's try and repair the relationship and figure out on their terms what can be repaired and if it's a relationship that can go forward. If we don't at least try to do that, we might as well just say to heck with it and put the RFP and go on. Because we're just wasting money and wasting time with a full city council meeting with that many people.
I think it's a big enough decision where you have engineering.
It's not like we're picking an engineer without the city council. We'll pick an engineer with the city council later.
Hearing them out.
We need to hear them out in a place where they feel comfortable to hear us out. And right now, they are not happy with the way they were treated up to this point. So we need to sit down and talk to them.
That's an opinion. So,
And it could very well be.
I think it should be the whole city council. It's a big decision.
Well,
It's not a decision, it's a discussion.
correct. The meeting would not be the decision. That would be brought back to here, and we would have a full city council meeting with them.
So it's a discussion, you won't have road contact 1 and 2 there?
If we do bring more than 2 of us there, we have to post it, that's all.
and you have to post 1 day, wait 3 days to have your meeting. That takes up the rest of this week.
Sooner than that.
Can you make it, Al?
This week?
Well, no, whenever it's a discussion, I would rather have one of the road contacts be there. You and Jay? Then?
What are the wishes of the council? I don't want to do anything that is that, I agree with Mr. Case. You know what I mean? And if we do 3, it ain't the end of the world to have 3, we just have to post it.
No, you just have to post it and wait. But if we knew a time, date, place certain, we could continue this meeting, but we don't. That meeting has to be coordinated, so we can't announce it tonight, so you would have to post it.
Mr. Mayor, I propose we send yourself and one other city council member to a meeting this week with Hawkinson Anderson.
I'll second the motion.
Further discussion? Any further discussion? Do we want to decide who the council member is? Would it be Al? Would it be-
I was going on availability. I'm freely available at any time.
I would say that the mayor needs to be there, and between Al or Scott, and depending on the day and if who's available and everything. So, leave that open.
Yep, nope, that's fine. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, the same sign. Motion carries. Okay. On letter E, discuss, approve, disapprove advertising for snow plow drivers.
Yeah, we have with the new plow truck coming in the middle of November, or end of November, we only have 6 drivers up there and then 1 alternate. So we're gonna have 4 plow trucks, 2 1-tons, and then the front end loader with the attachment. So I'd like to go out and see if we can get another driver, alternate, possible. If someone's sick or on vacation, I know Bob goes on vacation, or else we're not gonna have enough drivers unless the board member, city council member want to do it. Don't look at me. You thought 19 mailboxes were bad. Don't.
So we're just looking for an alternate, we're using the same amount of drivers as we used in years past.
Yeah,
We're just looking to have one more alternate.
Yeah.
Wishes of the council.
I'll make a motion to approve advertising for an alternate
There a second?
driver.
I'll second him.
Motion is second. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Letter F, discuss, approve, disapprove winter parking signs. Sure who put this on?
Oh, is it that sign, that one?
Yeah, that one.
Okay. I don't have a problem with that, but why do we have the ordinance number on there? I think that's just a waste of money having them put that on there. I mean, I go to a lot of cities where they have the no parking, there's no ordinance number.
No
on the sign.
legal requirement.
Yeah, that ordinance number should get taken off of there. Otherwise, it looks just fine.
Motion to approve without the,
Motion to approve without putting the ordinance on there.
second?
I'll second that.
Motion is second. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye.
All right.
Opposed, the same sign. Motion carries. Letter G, we did. Okay.
I just wanted to clarify, April 15th is no longer current ordinance, it's April 30th.
Well, let's just fix that to the correct, to what the ordinance says.
All right, yeah, motion to, also on this sign here now, approve changing April 15th to the 30th.
I'll make that motion.
Second. Motion is second. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, the same sign. Motion carries. Thank you, Zach. Letter H, discuss 2026 chip seal over gravel, West Elk Lake, South Sandy Lake, and Lake.
Alan?
Chip seal, I'd like to wait until spring to do that, because
Over at Elk Lake, Lake Diane and all that? Okay,
yes, because it's just getting too late in the season.
okay.
The warranty, what was the deal with the warranty on that, Zach? It was only good, oh, it took
September 15th.
September 15th, yeah.
I remember.
So this is discussing the chip seal. Settings that we currently have chip seal on. And the basis of this was to discuss. Thank you, Joan. The basis of this was to discuss doing a lift on all of these existing areas because they're becoming pretty fatigued. And this was to discuss that opportunity to develop that map pack early so we could take advantage of some early bidding processes.
Thought was that, and always has been, that we would need to do this again eventually as part of maintenance, if you will. We would do the same thing that we did last time, therefore it would be a rinse and repeat. But then you're also asking, and maybe when we get to it, or we can cover it at this point in time, deferring the South Sandy Lake chip seal requirements happen at the same time that this does. That's what you're talking about, deferring, is the Sandy Lake one, right? What are the wishes of the council?
I'll make a motion to defer to spring.
Second.
Okay, hang on. All right, we have discussed chip seal, so we've done that. Now we can move on to letter I. Sorry, I'm trying to figure this out here now.
Yep.
Discuss coordination of the RFP request for proposals for the 2026 over to gravel program. So we already have a definition of what we do for chip sealing, correct? I mean, triple chip sealing and all, correct? I mean, we don't have to recreate that in any way. So with that, I think what we could do is say, let's dust that off. And I don't know that it needs to go out right now because I don't know that everybody's trying to wrap up for the year. I don't know that next year yet. You know what I mean? But I would suggest that we do two things. Number one, defer the South Sandy Lake Stormwater Project chip seal requirements to add it to what this RFP would be and probably go out in what? February or March, or whatever that number is. Excellent. Is that a motion? Second.
I'll second.
Motion and a second. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, the same sign. Motion carries. So that kind of added I and J together because we deferred that as well. So now we're on to K, snowplow policy.
Yeah, there's, Joan puts this out in the paper every year. For this, just to remind residents, that time of year is coming up, this is snowplow and ice
So this
policy.
is to approve advertising?
Yes. I'll make a motion.
I'll second.
Have a motion and a second to approve advertising. Joan, we generally do that just in the Star, or the Union Eagle.
Probably go out the first week of November.
And then can we also send that out to our email list that we have? Don't know if there's any part of it, it'd be hard to text, so I don't think. Other than maybe a notice to say, look in the paper for the snow.
And Mr. Mayor, maybe have a alert on the webpage that the snowplow policy be on the first page
There,
coming up.
look at our website for our
Yeah.
snowplow. Any further discussion? Discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, the same sign. Motion carries. Table items, discuss empowering small Minnesota communities program.
Okay, well, we had an email from anonymous person, Joan, I don't even know. About the program, somebody referred us, like we should take a look at it. Who was it? Something. It was anonymous, wasn't it? Kind of. Anyway, so, I reached out and I talked to, had a little meeting over the phone with Mike Greco, who is Sherburne County, falls under, communities in Sherburne County falls under his, guidance and stuff. They've done 2 rounds of funding. So what happened was the state legislature, a couple sessions ago, put some money into a program that they're doing with the University of Minnesota. And the broad picture of what it is, what this is about, it's a plan, it's a a planning activity. And what it'll end up doing is if you have any projects that you're gonna try to go for bonding from the state, you'll have gone through the exercise of doing the process of planning this out and looking for efficiencies. And so, long story short, it takes your, anyways, basically, it helps you get a nice plan put together so that when you go to put something in towards bonding, you remember in the past, we just kind of pulled something out of our pocket and said, here, we'll just shoot for that and see if they do. Now, this would actually be, there's been some coordination. So what could you use it for? You could use it for a variety of things. In our examples, it probably could be used for a city hall, fire hall. It could be used for planning out our commercial industrial area around 9. And they would help us figure out, in that process with them, we could talk about what it is we want to achieve there, and then they can help us figure out what we would need for infrastructure to support that. So if we find out that maybe what we're aspiring to is more infrastructure than we really want to get involved in, then they'll help us kind of find that level out what's going to work best for Baldwin that we see. And then at the end of the day, now we can have a plan put in place that specifies how we've analyzed all the opportunities, weakness, threats, all that, kind of like a SWOT and that. And this can work with our planning commission, our infrastructure committee, dovetail into the work that Dan Licht is doing. And so this last session, they were given more funding for this program, so there's going to be further rounds. So round 3 will be probably in March. They'll be asking for proposals from communities to get involved. So Mike Greco is going to follow up a couple times between now and March, probably February. And I think in November, he's probably going to forward. There's going to be some information that comes out about the first round and some reports on how what projects happened, what they did. Because we can look at them and, say, because we're going to have to, what we'd have to do is apply and specify. We could go, when you apply, there's a couple different tracks. One is like keying in on just a specific project, and that's a smaller engagement. A larger engagement would be like helping us look at 20, 50 years down the road for this community. Now, like one of the things when we incorporated, we were like, well, we do not want to lose our business district because it's helping fund our fire department. We have our own fire department. So that's where we had that strategic thinking when we were making our case and our incorporation that, well, we need to also say, things are going to continue to increase in cost, and we have the opportunity on the highway. We've got to figure out how to do it right. We get one shot at it. If we just do Pole Barn City, we're not putting, there's ways of making bigger increases, and then we have to think about things like, for example, a lot of communities out there think it's awesome to get a data center. Well, it ends up they suck a lot of power, they need a lot of water, and they end up costing the community in the long run or whatever. Well, we need to think about those things and, have realistic expectations of what we're trying to go. So anyways, this is a grant or a program that's funded from the state working with the University of Minnesota. So we'll bring it up in the February, more details, and we'll decide if we want to apply for it. And I think we got a pretty good shot at it. And it's the way it works is you just bounce your idea off of a person like Mike, say, here's what we're thinking, what do you think, and get his feedback, and then he'll help you. They'll even help you fill the application out for their program. So,
Mr. Mayor, I want to thank City Council Member Holm for jumping on that. I think it'd be an excellent thing because we basically, for the most part, have a blank slate here, especially the stuff to the south here. Let's do it right.
and you can do both tracks at the same time if you want. So if we want to identify a particular project, whether it's like City Hall, Fire Hall, or something, or maybe it's about water, we've talked about getting a water supply for the fire, and stuff. I mean, we're utilizing Princeton, and it doesn't, that relationship never, can always change. But, and do the bigger picture at the same time. You can do both. Yeah, it's been a couple of weeks, 2-3 weeks, to talk to him, but I talked to you after that. Is there anything that I said to you on the phone that maybe I'm forgetting now?
That and what you've told me tonight was a pretty sounds interesting to me.
Yeah, well, okay, so just the last piece I was gonna say, and I already said it earlier, but I'm just gonna hit on it again. The legislature's intent was to give communities, they really like communities under 5,000. Well, obviously we're, around 7,500. But for communities under 15,000, they don't have the staff and the resources to come make good plans to bring to the legislature. So this program is to help a small city put together a good plan to pitch to the legislature. So, I don't know if you remember, we had HR Green put some things in, like for a fire hall.
Yep.
And they probably basically just grabbed some boilerplate piece of dog turd, threw it in.
It was very, very.
In the bridge, so and so we paid them to just, basically take throw a crap shoot, just blindly throwing. This would be us putting our heads together, coming up with a real plan, and having pretty much a shovel ready. Hey, this is what we want to do, and this is the impact it's going to have. But the program is out there to help small communities, because big communities have been doing this a long time. So it's about competitiveness. It makes us more competitive after we've gone through this process. We got a better shot. This is what it comes. That's the nutshell. Of the
Mr.
program.
Mayor, I think it would be great because to be honest, we put together 4 bond requests here, and it was myself, Joan, and I think Tom with Zach put in these requests. And we're fairly novice at it. It'd be nice to have some more expertise in these requests, especially going forward.
So, in my opinion, I think, like I said, Mike Greco and I agreed that we would communicate a couple times prior to the March. So I'm thinking it's somewhere like November, December to get information on the previous one so we can read up on it, and then in February to get prepared for applying for the spring deadline. I think it's a March. So.
Is there any opposition to that? I think that's a wonderful.
I think including our local representatives in the Senate and the House wouldn't be a bad idea to at least keep them informed. I was already talking to Representative Lawrence on a different issue regarding firefighter pension matters. Would be certainly something. That way they're aware of it and they can be part of that process.
Keep that up for sure. And also too, Joan, let's let the record state 823.
Must have been at the Cambridge or the Zimmerman Council meeting.
Okay, next one is discuss, approve, disapprove partial payment to Seal Pros. Mr. Rush.
Yeah, so maintenance went out compared to the previously. So roughly around 90,000 has been approved. I know the vendor is asking for 75%. And he did go out the past few weeks and did some progress on the polyfiber. Did that, he has to come back and do some route and seals, so I would, make a motion, you know, to give them at least over 100,000.
So you're asking for a different amount than the 87, 730, 12? Is that, yeah, I thought that's what we were gonna approve here.
Anybody see my email?
Yes, I did.
I mean, basically, there's no way. There's no way at week 7 on this project. Again, like I said at the last meeting, there was no way there was only $20,000. There's no way 2 weeks later, now there's $90,000 done. 7, whatever. We have a contractor who's bleeding to death. Of his own admission, he blew the bid. His problem. He's willing to eat that, whatever, there it is, whatever. And he asked us for a progress payment, whatever, before we weren't ready to do that. He believed 2 weeks ago that he was at 85%. I don't know that to be true. I don't know that to not be true. I don't think any of us know that to be true or not to be true. But at this point in time, I would suggest, and my email earlier said that at 7 weeks into what he bid as a 3-week project, got to be 80% done. If he's not 80% done, whatever, you know what I mean, then I'm not sure what's going on.
Mr. Mayor?
And if we retain, if we retain like what I had said in my email, 5%, that puts it at 75%. That number becomes $112,500. That was my suggestion.
Explains it.
That's a suggestion.
Yeah, so the 19,000 was approved then because Public Works only had a day and a half to go out there and look what work was completed. So that's where that came from, that day and a half because of the workshop and the time off. So that's where that number came at. But yeah, he has come back and he has done a lot of the poly flex or fiber that, so I don't have a problem with your motion.
I don't have that sheet, maybe I do.
Right here. So it's, yeah, so.
But, okay, so, here, we're looking at this here in the cracked seal polyflex, wait a minute. Let me get up to where, okay. So it was bid at $23,880, so he's $23,835 into what I believe is the biggest part of this job. You know what I mean? And so, and route and seal bituminous, the pavement crack, so the route and seal, whatever, he's at only half of what he said. 820 was that, and he's only done 412 lineal feet of it. You know what I mean? And so and I don't know what
It goes down by road stations, so it's a lot harder to count.
Okay, well, anyway, and then the seal bituminous pavement cracks, just the plain blow and go. I mean, that's what they started out doing, and 7 weeks later, he's only got 315, 820. He's less than half done with that. I just can't believe it. Because when I'm looking at it like 313th, 125th, 125th, 314th, 320th, 316th, if you will, all of those roads had to be done before the microseal could be done. They're done, the microseal or the microsurfacing is done, whatever. That's a big project, a big piece of it, whatever. A bunch of that had to happen. Now, it's also all over the whole town as well, you know what I mean, doing a whole bunch of roads. You know what I mean? And so I can't believe this is being right. I guess I would make a motion then that we do 100, for the reasons stated before, $112,500. That would be 75% of the contracted amount of $150,000.
With 5% retainage.
There's a 5%
Going on to
retainage of
80%.
80%. I believe he's 80% done. What are the wishes? That's my motion. Is there a second?
I'll second.
Motion is second. Any further discussion? Any further discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, the same sign. Motion carried. All right, discuss, approve, disapprove expenditure limits, Mr. Rush.
Yeah, so I got, Joan helped me and I talked to Bob about this, but we're looking at some purchasing procedures that other municipalities had. I know you guys haven't probably seen this, so I won't go into details, but this,
Oh, yeah, Albert,
okay, so you have seen it.
briefly, yes.
Okay, so basically what I'm looking for is here is some direction on the limits, because currently fire department has a $2,500 expenditure up to, anything else goes on the board to the city council. But the city, Scott just looks at it and approves it. For maintenance, we have anything under 2,500, typically 1,000, with all their stuff going on, you know, with their day-to-day chainsaw blades or greasing, get grease or stuff and other stuff. There's an email that goes to from Public Works to myself or Mr. Walker, and then we approve that. Jones on there, and that gets stapled to the check for the approval. So that has been working because people didn't want stuff on here. Why we have a $200 expenditure on here? This is a waste of time on the agenda, so that's why it was put into place for that. So I'm looking for something to be consistent, that the maintenance and the fire department are all on the same page, that we have a policy in place for this, and then we just need to discuss the limits. I think the roads has been jacked up from 25 to, is it 5,000, Joan? Okay, and then you have 2,500? You have 2,500? The rest of us, I think, have 1,000 now. Okay. So I got a policy. I'm not gonna take up much time. Joan can forward it to the rest of you. I know Bob, me and you talked, you got some templates on this, but we just need to hammer out. Previously, Public Works had up to $1,000 expenditure. Joan's got, what, 250, Joan? Right now? Zach doesn't have that. So, I mean, the day-to-day stuff, you know, because there's fuel purchases that are covered in here, salt and sand, that's, you know, that we don't get approval for. So I'm just looking for direction where you want the amounts set at. So we're all set on the same page.
I'm not opposed to increasing that amount for the Public Works. I do have a concern of tying the fire department and Public Works together, because the fire department is emergency services versus Public Works is not. I just have a concern to tie them together. That I don't have a problem with, you know, setting some limits, but I think they need to be set separately. Otherwise.
I think the biggest crux to all of this is, you know, I have the ability in an emergency to authorize up to a $2,500 repair. Doesn't mean I have $2,500 a month. It doesn't mean I have $2,500 every 2 weeks. You know what I mean? It doesn't mean that I have $2,500 for as many times as it takes to come up with it over, you know, a month. That kind of a deal. So with that being said, the way I have always addressed it, roads guy, that expenditure limit like that was always meant to be for that. If an emergency comes up, rather than calling the council or the board at that time, calling everybody together, whatnot, to have an emergency meeting or whatever, or force something that really does make sense to happen, wait for 2 weeks. Because none of those things ever seem to happen until the day after the last meeting. Wait 2 weeks. It makes sense to do that. So with that, otherwise, everything else, I think what we should do is we should have a policy as far, because something came up over the gas barrel all of a sudden, just lately here. You know what I mean? And the fuel barrel was really something that's always been, I mean, we use it for the emergency department, we use it for some in the maintenance department, whatever, and we know we need to have a supply. It goes without saying that once that barrel is empty, it needs to be filled again. So I think what we,
That in here.
yeah, and I think what we need to do is if, you know, those types of expenditures, that's got to be included. Something, I mean, when we get down to 25% or 20% of that fuel barrel, any one of them, Joan knows that she has the authorization, whatever, to call fuel company.
Mr. Mayor, and part of the budgeting process and doing your budget and with the expenditures, if you're within what your, amounts are that you are going to spend on there and you're under that limit, that should be the reason for using that money. So just for instance, on training expenditures, I got a $15,000 budget for the year. If I'm under the 2,500, there shouldn't be any big concern about that. But if I go and say, 20, thousands and thousands of dollars, absolutely bring it in. But if it's a normal fuel expenditure or utility bill expenditure or that kind of thing, and that's in your budget, that shouldn't have to come through all the steps, the bureaucracy, as it were.
It's like, for Public Works, a lot of it's the day-to-day stuff, like the culvert that washed out over there, and they had to go pick up a lot of river rock to plug that, stop gushing, or something, a truck breaks down during the snowplow emergency, and if it's snowing nonstop, they're gonna, it can't wait till 2 weeks for a meeting. So if they need to get something to fix it, is there anything else, Zach, I'm missing, like you guys?
Yes, I have a good example. Going fires.
That's what I'm trying to get at.
Yeah, I do. I'd like to know, because I'd like to say, hey, should we put new front tires on it? Should we put new tires on the whole thing? Because as that came to us, whatever, it was a slow leak. Right? You know what I mean? So to me, if it comes to me as a slow leak, this means we've known about it for a while. We've been able to deal with it for a while. Emergency to call out tire people to fix it. Right? You know what I mean? So that could have been something that we could have had the discussion about. What do we want to do? We obviously rely on the loader. We use it for fires. We use it for snow.
Tree removal.
Kind of thing. We have made a commitment to this machine to keep it, to do that. Is it something we want to put tires on? So some things like that, whatever, and we could still have that discussion. But some things like that, if it's because it was presented as a slow leak, which meant it wasn't. Which is why I'm saying my $2,500 that I have for Frontier Trail, really that's an emergency. If $3,000 or $1,500 worth of pumps or whatever need to be fixed or whatever, I'm still bringing that, if it's something like that, whatever that can wait, I'm still gonna bring that back to the council. It's the right thing to do. It's the people's money, it's the people's purse. The five of us, whatnot, need to approve all these expenditures. And if it's something like that, that can wait till the next meeting, you know what I mean? If you guys know about it, it can go on the consent agenda. That way everybody said, yep, absolutely, no problem. And this isn't, all this is about record keeping and transparency for me. Anything ever has been. And I said, when, back in the very beginning, the roads guy, the roads guy, you know what I mean, was at $1,000, whatnot, and I illegally authorized a $2,500 expenditure. No, I did that. Board to even know that this was a problem. Ultimately, that's how it got bumped up to the 2,500. 24 was what I did, and it's kind of like, it made sense at that point in time. So that was one where John Bogart had called me and said, hey, I need a change order, $2,400 for black dirt. This was 111th and a half up here. Right? And so, and he's like, I'm like, my first question to him was, how in the heck did we miss that much black dirt? Because it's a pretty small project. You know what I mean? And so, and he came back and he told me, and he said, well, he said, you can either have me survey the entire road every 50 feet so that we can take a look at that and I can get it right down to the gnat's behind. You're going to spend 15 to 20,000 or more on surveying and engineering. Or I can go by my gut, you can give me a change order of $2,400, and that's a lot easier than doing a full-blown engineering. One, that made sense to me. Two was that this was the last day of the project. They were literally done. The equipment was going to go, the contractor was going to be gone. There would have been mobilization of the skid loaders or the dozers and whatever to spread this black dirt, along with the expenditure of just $2,400. So all things combined, it made sense, whatever, for me to approve that. That's why we ultimately came up. So when we think about what this is going to be and what it would be used for, in my opinion, that's what these expenditures were for. Now, if we want to say and go back and something like what Albertville has there and say we have maintenance expenditures of X, whatever this is, and define them, very literally define them, what they are and how much they should be, yes, absolutely, let's do that.
This also has the purchase agreements of 25,000, 75, and 150 in here as well. State for bids.
And those are all going to come back to the council.
Yes, but at least it's in the policy.
Oh, yes, definitely.
So,
And I think too, what we should also do, and Bob, check me if I'm wrong, there's a municipal contracting law, there's quoting up to 175,000, bidding over 175,000.
Correct.
And so what I would also like to add into there, and that part of what that is, you know what I mean, that says and directs how we go. And I would like a definition in here, once and for all, of what constitutes a responsible quote or a responsible bid, right? Because my understanding is, and check me if I'm wrong, maybe this is the time, but if we go out for sealed bids, we have to take.
That is correct. Unless we can find, we can determine that they are irresponsible bidder. And I have, starting my 36th year as a lawyer, and we don't have it. And when Shane was here, when we were discussing that same topic, was a contractor in Now Then, which I am the city attorney and he's the city engineer. And they won it by $3. They got it by $3 from a very local, reputable contractor, but they were the lowest, and we had no information that we could, people said, yeah, they were a little slow, but they did it, and never had any hard evidence that they could not do the job. And that's what we need. And typically, because if you don't give it to them, they're going to sue us. And we're not going to have a basis for denial of that. So it's hard to come up with, when you say, I want a definition, it's got to be somebody that has completely screwed up a job and done it consistently a couple of times. A lot of times, MnDOT will keep a list of people. And if MnDOT has found them irresponsible, it's, we can rely on that. But a lot of times for these contractors, no objective evidence that they're not responsible. So we had to do it. We did have a problem with that contractor. It is the first time that I have pulled a performance bond and a payment bond. I never had to exercise on it because we had enough retainage and stuff to fix the job doing that. But it is something that is a problem. So there is no exact definition of what is a responsible contractor. It's somebody that has screwed up other projects. We can get evidence of that, and then we can use that as a basis for denial of that person's low bid. Then it goes to the next lowest bid.
Okay, then explain the difference between the onus that would be on us for bidding, sealed bids. How does that differ from quotes?
From quotes, we have no obligation. I don't understand, given how strict they are with sealed bids, where you have to go with the lowest quote, that is not in the cards for a quote. For quotes, 25,000 to 175, you are obligated to get 2 quotes. It doesn't say where the quotes have to come from. It doesn't say it has to be within a certain geographic area or distance and stuff. You just have to get 2 quotes. You're supposed to document that in the file that you have obtained it. we would prefer to have written quotes for the file, but it doesn't say that in the statute, so I have had towns and cities that have called and gotten a quote from a reliable contractor. And then, when those two quotes are obtained, you do not have to go with the lowest quote. Basically, until you reach that lowest responsible bidder threshold of 100, putting it out for sealed bids at 175, you can award as a city or a town, you can award the contract to whoever you want to work with. They may not be the lowest, may be a political issue for your residents, but it's not a legal issue. You can go with whoever you want. But once you get to that 175,000 threshold and you have to do sealed bids, we have to find this person is not a responsible contractor, and that is some objective standard. We have to find where they have screwed up other projects. Other than that, for 0 to 25, just negotiate. No quotes are needed. For 25 to 175, you got to get the two quotes, but you can give it to whoever again. It's just when you reach that 170.
Mr. Mayor, so if Joan can forward this to the rest of the council then to look over, there is stuff on there like purchases of less than 1,000. It's several vendors' cost. I think that's a little extreme, so you guys can look over it. And then just have your, if you want to give Public Works any expenditure, whether it's 500 or 1,000, just come back to the next meeting with everybody looking over this and their suggestions. I would recommend. Time.
We'll have discussion for sure. You can put discuss, approve, disapprove. Bob, you also are Albertville's attorney, correct?
We are.
Okay, so if there's something in there that doesn't fit us or whatever, that we
Yes.
look at that.
Yes, Joan, if you would mind sending that to me as well. We'll review it, and we'll give you any feedback for any language changes that we believe should be appropriate. You can decide whether you want to incorporate that language or not.
All right with that?
Yep.
All right, new business, discuss, disapprove, or approve, disapprove, painting the chain link fence at cemetery. I think I asked Joan to put this on, but I do believe this came from Mr. Was to paint the.
It was
chain-
me.
Oh,
It was
oh,
me.
It was you? Okay.
Yeah, just, instead of the silver, let's paint it black, like a lot of cemeteries and that kind of stuff. So it's less obtrusive and blends in better. That's all. That was my only point.
I talked to the sexton, and that fence has been there for 25 years. He just said, leave it as it is. I mean, because we only got in the cemetery fund $8,300, and that's self-sufficient depending on lots being sold. So, I mean, a new fence will, because I don't think the paint will stick. I think a new fence, it's been there for 25 years, so I would just keep it as is. That's
The
just,
wishes of the council.
I'll let you
We
guys chime
stick
in.
to that. It would be kind of hard. I just wonder how hard it would.
I don't know. It's just, if you go to a lot of different cemeteries and that, and the fences are not bright silver, they're black.
Well, usually they're not chain link either.
And whatever, I'm just trying to come up with so it's less obtrusive in the neighborhood since we were already tore out half of it, so. Just the thought.
Do we want to just leave this on as discussion, or do we want to disapprove it?
I mean, I will make a
You can just
motion.
leave it as discussion. I don't need a yes or no vote unless somebody wants it, unless somebody is, for it.
Okay. Thank you, Mr. Case. Sorry, Mr. Holm. Letter B, I put on here is school referendum. I talked to Pat, why can't I think of his last name, the new superintendent. He stopped in my office today and I talked to him before. Okay, at the last meeting, the one that I missed, he came and hijacked 45 minutes of your guys' meeting, whatever, for the school referendum. I told him, I said, in our discussions, that was not what we talked about. What we had talked about was he was going to give us the PowerPoint, send it to Joan. We would get a chance as council members to look at it and decide if we wanted to go forward with that. And I said, then ultimately what we saw in the newspaper is the school district hijack our meeting for their informational session and workshop, whatever. And I told them, terms, do not ever do that again. That's not what we wanted to do, and that's not what we talked about. Okay, so we're running, November 4th is going to be the election. And so we're running out of time. And what I had discussed with him in the beginning was, you know what I mean, when we did our incorporation, whatever, with a little bit of advertising, we got 1,000 people here. I mean, 1,000 people here. $50 million referendum is enough to get people tuned up, right? And people want to know about it. Either they're against it, or they're for it, or they're not. I said to him, what I would do is I would bring to you guys and see if we wanted to do it. It'd have to be sometime probably next week if we did that. Would be at the school district's expense for the broad, or the advertising, whatever that we can see that we could do. We would open up the back shop, something similar to what we had done, for the people to gather and him to come and answer their questions. $50 million. All about that. I'm very adamant. I think we should do that, but question is.
I think, Mr. Mayor, I think that's a good suggestion. Be more transparent to the public, and if they have concerns, they can hear them out.
I mean, and I told him, I'm like, welcome to Baldwin, man. You're walking straight head first into a lynch mob.
Mr. Mayor, let's pick a day next week. Thursday is the infrastructure meeting.
Your planning commission?
No,
No?
Thursday next week. It could be Wednesday, right? There's nothing on the calendar. Oh, yes, there is.
The infrastructure meeting's on Thursday, the
Yes.
30th.
Do it on Wednesday. I can tell them that we could do it. We can send it out. We can put it on our website. He'll take care of the newspaper. You know, that comes out Thursday this week, whatever, for, we'll have to think about renting chairs, because I think we should just start with not the back shop again, because I think show up in earnest for this. It's either going to be a big thing or a bust. And it got 2 strikes against him, if you will. Commandeer our meeting like that, that's bad. Number 2, you know, even this meeting we're trying to put together, whatever, the week before the election, we should have been, because he and I talked several weeks ago now.
Yeah, I think that it's actually not a bad thing to have it just the week before election, because this is an infrastructure project versus a political candidate. So I think it gives fresh information.
We would want to do it in the evening.
Yes.
Day was no good.
That day would not be any good.
7
Can we
p.m.
do it in that Public Works garage?
Yes.
2 stalls?
Well, we could set up there, see how much, I don't know if that would be.
I would think we do it in the back shop.
Mean that we'd need to run stuff out, whatever, set outside.
How many stalls do you need though? Because we have 2 there. It's easier to clean out then.
But if we have 700 people show up, and we had for the corporation, we had 700-800 people back there, and that went all the way to the back wall. So, yeah. So
It's cold, remember?
yeah, that's why I think being in the back, far back would be the place to do it.
And I think that we also do, and you know, the guys went and got chairs.
On their dime. It's their payment.
Their dime. Yep.
You also had some sort of a microphone, and I don't remember.
Yeah, they're a school. They're a school. They've got the stuff. We tell them we'll give them the space, and they can set everything else up.
So would they coordinate getting the chairs on?
That should, to be honest,
Is he okay with all that?
Well, then we'll have you call in the morning and discuss all of that, yes.
yep. They should actually coordinate all of it.
Alternative date if they don't like Wednesday?
Tuesday.
Tuesday? Is there a Tuesday open?
Tuesday or Wednesday.
Yeah, we should tell them to pick a day.
And well, he was in my office again today, and I talked a little bit about that as well.
I would prefer Wednesday. I do have a meeting over there on Tuesday, but If we gotta do it Tuesday, we gotta do it
That
Tuesday.
gives us time to get it in the paper and time for people to realize that it's, oh
Yeah.
crap, I gotta do this tonight.
Yep.
On the paper, though, we would add.
Well, we'll let the school board handle that.
Would this be something you would authorize one of your texts to alert people if you
Yes.
missed the date?
Oh, definitely. Once we get the yes with them, our email list, our text your gov.
I'll make a motion to approve allowing the school district to use the back maintenance hall and to have a text my gov, and give them a choice of Tuesday or Wednesday of next week.
When, just a friendly, prefer Wednesday versus Tuesday.
Let's just put it out as Wednesday, and if they come back at us,
Yeah,
then we can go, well, we got Tuesday, but we don't have Thursday.
I'll second it under those conditions.
Further discussion? Thank you, gentlemen. I think this is just good for the community, that's all. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, the same sign. Motion carries. All righty, announcements.
Sorry.
Budget meeting is tomorrow night. Planning Commission meeting is Wednesday night. Infrastructure Committee meeting is Thursday, October 30th. Our next city council meeting is November 3rd, 2025. Independent School District referendum election day is November 4th. Polls open from 7 a.m. to 8 p.m. for the city of Baldwin, Blue Hill Township, and Santiago. That's just another thing to keep in mind. That is something different than any other election. Blue Hill will come here as their polling place, and so. And I also talked to him about making sure that Blue Hill and Santiago know about this. Going to make sure that they do as well.
Mr. Mayor, question: if we have a city council meeting the night before the election, in previous years, that's been an issue on. It's gonna be back. Okay, I just wanted to clarify. All right, thank you.
Any other concerns? Okay, so is there any other business?
I do got one. This brought to my attention, Towmasters with the snowplow coming. There's an invoice for $48,739. That's right there. Where do you want, Joan was asking me where should that come out to, and I said probably the capital project fund, but wanted to bring it to the city councils
And the fact
for
that
discussion.
this has been approved, but I think if we look at this expenditure and even approve it tonight, again, we'll have everything covered.
It's been 2 years.
$48,739.
Yet it's still a 2005 truck or 25 truck.
Oh,
That's what it said on the, somewhere in the paperwork I saw it.
Was it 23 or 20?
It was listed as something we have, in the report somewhere, they called it a 2025 truck, Freightliner.
That's
A
what I just
typo.
wanted to bring up.
so entertain a motion to approve this coming out of the capital fund.
So moved.
Second? Motion is second. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Same sign. Motion carries, and I do have one more. As our county commissioner has graced us with his presence, if there's anything that you would like to tell us, I'd like to give you a moment to do as such. Or if we have any questions.
Already got them. I got some other stuff.
Yeah, well rested. Mr. Mayor, Honorable City Council, do you have any questions for me? I was out on County Road 19. I did send you guys some information. I'm not sure if you want to get into the AI camera business, but I did send the email. It's up to you guys. For your informational purposes, we spent $53,000 on 916.
Where is that? County Road 19, you said?
You guys want to get into that business of Wells Fargo.
Any leads?
No leads, but I was there, I seen exactly what happened and I understand it. As an adult, we all know how it happened and what was going on when it happened.
I could have had them dead to rights. I drove by and didn't take the plate down.
Next picture. Oh, the other one. First, yeah. It was called Flock Safety Falcon. You guys will see these. They don't monitor the fronts of cars when you drive by. It always catches the plates. But anyway, this is through our sheriff's department, and you know, I've installed these, and maybe Pine County today, and there is a town called Henrietta, Minnesota, in their community. But again, it's AI, so it's monitoring.
Question, why at 19?
No, just because of that incident that happened.
They hit the guardrail. And they
Got a stop sign.
There's skid marks all the way from 100th all the way down to Young Park.
It doesn't have to be at that particular intersection. That goes in, that's $15,000.
Is that all at 4 in the morning?
And you
All
have
the skid
one
marks?
on
Well,
19.
so we have multiples in the county, just not one. It's real permanent once it gets installed. But we have to work with the sheriff's
So that would be solely Sherburne County doing that at our request.
department. Correct. And we have them in Oak River.
So you don't feel like this is Big Brother?
This is Big Brother.
Are you embracing Big Brother, or are you suggesting Big Brother?
I approve this, we approved this on the 9/16.
Why did you support it? What benefit do you see to the, tell me what the benefits are here.
Trade my liberty for safety. Given liberties. So anyway, other than that, all is well in Sherburne County. We're doing well on the County Road 4 169 project. That's doing really
I was
well.
gonna ask you about that, because they're constructing on 169 as we speak.
Yep, and so we are working very diligently. I think that we're gonna put a video together, as soon as we finish the 10th Avenue roundabout to make sure that people, the political disagreement had turned the rhetoric so toxic that we have people that don't think Zimmerman. So at the end of the month, I have the county plows getting put on the trucks. Ride them through the roundabout and then take I will tell you that we have learned that the people of Baldwin and the people of Livonia and Zimmerman are really, really savvy at routing themselves onto roads. Really busy, so if you go on 253rd off of County Road 1, that road there is a frightful. Was onto 169 slowing traffic down. So many people just skidding. This is a marathon of a construction project, and I mean a marathon and not in miles, but in years. The 169 County Road 4 project, started over 26 years ago. Marathon is 26.2 miles.
I am one.
And we've been working on this project for 26.2 years, which we will all have wrapped up in halfway 13.1 months. We'll be all wrapped up. So I would just say that that was a very positive thing for Sherburne County, and I'm glad to be the one to help operate the process. Anything else, Mr. Mayor or Council?
I don't have anything in particular.
Take a look at that. If you guys would, something you guys want to do, I definitely will advocate very strongly, but it's Big Brother. Welcome to Baldwin, and anytime you come to Elk River, you're already getting Big Brother, so.
Well, I find it quite interesting how they're willing to put up a camera and whatnot to be Big Brother, but when we ask them to put up the lighted blinking stop sign, we have to do it ourselves. Just saying, quite interesting to me.
And I will say that I have spent some time, extended amounts of time out in Palmer, and they really want the ripple strips put back in. Really, really bad way, and that also did Thanks for having me.
You bet. Thanks for stopping.
I'll be here next week for the 477.
Excellent.
Yep.
Any other business still open here?
Yes, we're still under any other business.
Okay, I have something. I found an email last week on the 7th disturbing. We have a resident who uses a lot of staff time. And that would be Pam Burbank. And within one of her emails in there, she asked if, she says, would it be possible for you to send me a copy of the letter being sent out to Messrs? So why would she be entitled to be getting copies of stuff when Mr. Ron Messer asked for stuff and he can't get anything? And he's representing his son and daughter-in-law in the matter. And she's got, I don't know how many hours of Dan Lick's time over the last year and of Joan's time. And we just keep, we've dealt with this kind of stuff in the past, like Chuck Nagel. We really need to curtail this. This is flat out harassment. The letter that she went and sent out around to all her neighborhood and made accusations about city council members. I never met Ron prior to the whole thing starting in August of 2024. The only way I ever got to know him was I went and followed up on the matter to see if there was a track in the backyard. There wasn't. This is an absolute harassment, persecution operation by Pam Burbank. And she's sitting here, we're just a bunch of puppets on the string. So I just wanted to bring that, if anybody's read that or read through that chain of emails there. I think we're giving too much of our taxpayers' money by time to staff the inquiries from somebody who's on a witch hunt.
I believe she should need a public information request if she wants. Falls under that.
You should make a Data Practices Act request and go through proper channels.
Yep, that would be my only thing. I mean, so, in some of it where our hands are tied, but she certainly does not need to get copies of emails from our clerk unless she does the proper channels with the public.
If she does do the
Data
proper
privacy.
channels, will comply with Minnesota law.
A lot of the stuff she requests.
So in the past, we made Mr. Nagel use the postal service. Do you remember that?
I'm just gonna say that was a situation that rose to a much higher level. That was needed.
Well, that's because he was putting the township itself through the ringer. This is a resident putting another resident through the ringer.
Well, number one, I don't disagree that there seems to be a neighborhood feud. I don't agree with us putting ourselves in any position to do anything with that. Right? Good, bad, or indifferent. Agree with it, disagree with it, it is what it is. All of those things, if they come to fruition, are mostly civil matters. When it comes to things that fit in our ordinance, the way our ordinances are written, I think we have to address that accordingly. We don't really have a choice to address that.
However, I have seen in 2 instances that at a meeting, the other party didn't get very much opportunity to explain themselves or represent themselves in regards to what the other individual is pursuing.
Well, at some point in time, if it does continue, I'm going to suggest that we are going to need a letter from the actual residents, whatever, or power of attorney, or something like that to move forward. Because if the situation does get serious, we're going to have to directly respond to the residents at that address. We're going to require and request and need that they, not a representative, or a representative that has been sworn to be as such, to come here and represent them before we can actually get down to the crux of it.
Well, I believe it started out initially as a matter of privacy. And if you would go back to the initial sheriff's report, you would see what the crux of the whole matter is about.
I have seen all of that, Mr. Holmes.
Yes.
We have been through
That's-
all of that, Mr. Holmes. We can keep beating that drum as long as you want, Mr. Holmes. But it does not change the fact that we are not going to jump down some rabbit hole as far as I'm concerned. We have a way that we can deal with it, and we have been dealing with this. I mean, we have been dealing with this the only way that we have. And so because of the decorum of our meetings in that last one, I'm assuming it's because I would not let Mr. Messer speak. That's what you're calling up. And at this point in time, we had the ability to deal with that issue, and Mr. Licht was here, and Mr. Licht ended up talking with them, and it sounded like they ultimately had something set up or figured out, I don't know what. But at any rate, there was an agreement made at that point in time. So to say that nothing happened, his piece was heard, but I wasn't going to let, because we have watched this very contentious issue on all sides, turn this meeting into a cluster. And I'm not going to let that happen anymore. You know what I mean? If you want it a different way, there's a way around that.
Well, I'm just asking for.
But I'm just saying.
I'm
that's
saying
not gonna
that
happen.
one party is getting flow of information, getting staff time, resources, tax dollars, our taxpayers' resources. And the other one gets, cut off. Doesn't get
I'll be honest with you.
privy to all this background stuff. I mean, this is gonna actually become discovery at some point with attorneys. I'm just telling you.
Very well could be. It very well could be. And I'm not gonna go down the rabbit hole of a whole lot of speculation.
I just wanted to bring light to that's in this email that I read last week. She's sitting here asking for stuff, and I don't think she should be given the stuff.
You have made.
And I think
your
our attorney
piece.
has said that
You have made your.
Data
piece,
Practice Act's
Mr.
how she
Holmes.
should go through to
We
get
are
it.
well aware of your opinion on this.
That's my final word on it. I got my point out, but I'm telling you, you're allowing a resident to waste our energy and resources.
It's, as long as both parties follow the Data Practices Act, and both parties are open to following that, the clerk should not be pro bono sending stuff out to them, and I believe the clerk is aware of that. I think hopefully that takes care of that situation. If they follow the rules that the state has set down under the Data Practices Act, let's do it that way. I personally have not seen the other party to that thing at one of these meetings in a couple of years after she was not happy with us the last time. So, as far as I'm concerned, if they do what they're supposed to under state, do it that way, then we're doing the way we should.
I do have a question about one check here. Bogart Peterson. This is Sandy Lake and Lake Diane Stormwater Project. Isn't the county supposed to be paying that? Because this was the end, they were doing the engineering, we were doing
Doing
the
the engineer on the implement and the design of it. This was for, part of our engineer, checking,
Construction management.
construction management and the, pre-com meeting that we had, on the phone. So that's what that's for.
Well, just so everybody knows, here's $5,796, a surprise, because I was under the impression that they were gonna cover the engineering costs.
on the implementing piece. Construction and design.
That up. Okay. All righty, any other business? All right, that'll conclude the business for the meeting tonight, other than a business to approve.
Now you gotta sign one more.
Check number 28977 to 29007 for $51,586.90. Check number 28982 is a void reissue from July, and 28983 is a void reissue from May. There was 4 EFT payments for $4,256.18, for a total of $55,843.08.
Motion to approve that. Moved, is there a second? Second, any further discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, the same sign.
Motion adjourned.
Motion to adjourn, motion and a second, any further discussion?
Get on then.
Hearing none, all of those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, the same sign. We are adjourned at 9:21. All righty, everyone, see you back here tomorrow night. Then Wednesday night, if you want to come to a planning commission meeting.
Boss is very good.
Mr. Moore asked.
Come to an I-15 county board meeting.
Welcome.
Tomorrow morning, we'll be there right in time.
Princeton, the school did attend the Blue Hill board meeting tonight.
Good, they hijacked their meeting as well.
Yes, they did, for about 40 minutes.
Uh-huh.
There's 3 people that were there.
There was 2 board members, vote yes, representative, the superintendent, a couple of people.
Yeah. It was a full house.
It was.
It was a full house.
That was very good.
Was there room for all of those?